If you're in the healing arts, you're a coach, an energy worker, a therapist, a body worker, anyone who holds space for others, and you end every single session completely drained, collapsed on your couch, unable to do anything else for the rest of the day, you've probably been told that that's just part of the work, that your sensitivity means you absorb their pain, that being exhausted is actually a badge of honor or proof that you're doing it right, and that it means you gave your all. But what if I told you that draining yourself isn't part of healing work? That it's actually martyrdom wearing a spiritual disguise? Because newsflash, your exhaustion isn't proof you're doing it right. It's proof you could be doing it so much better. In the next few minutes in this video, I'm going to show you why you're drained after helping people. And it's really not what you think. So first up, let's talk about the wounded healer archetype. And you know the one where your wounds make you a better healer, and that your suffering gives you credibility, that your past pain is what qualifies you to help others, and that you need to stay in that space for longer than what you would naturally. And look, there's a little bit of truth in there, but it's nuance. Your wounds did inform your compassion. You do understand things because you've been through them. But here's what no one's going to tell you. The wounded healer archetype was only ever meant to be a stage you move through. And of course, we move through different stages over our lifetimes, but it is a stage, and it's not meant to be a permanent identity that you hang on to. When did we start believing that staying wounded and overgiving from this place makes us better helpers? There's this unspoken belief in healing communities that if you're not exhausted or depleted, that you didn't give enough, that if you're not talking all about how much you're giving and giving and giving, then you're not devoted to your craft or to your clients. And I want you to notice here, as a practitioner, if there's a part of you that's actually afraid to not be exhausted anymore. Like, what would that mean? Because if you're not completely exhausted from your efforts, who are you? And are you even working hard? Our capitalist paradigm wants us to be in this space of constantly giving, when really the paradigm of our healing work is to actually invite people out of the capitalist paradigm, out of the patriarchal paradigm, out of the extractive resources kind of approach to living. That paradigm. We're inviting people into a new way of being. So we can't be doing things in the old way and expecting to be bringing the new in through our work. So this also creates an addiction to being needed in a very specific way, as the person who sacrifices and depletes themselves for others to be seen as worthy. And I really want you to allow yourself to consider that your martyrdom and your wounded healer self isn't service. When you drain yourself to help others, you're not actually giving healing energy in its totality. You're giving away your life force, and there is actually a massive difference here. When you work from depletion, you're not creating a full healing, you're creating codependency, a codependent energy exchange. So your clients become dependent on you to fix them, you become dependent on being needed by them, and you both stay stuck in a cycle. And when you leave your sessions feeling drained, you're not holding space from your energetic overflow. You're pouring from your reserves. You're giving pieces of yourself and not channeling healing energy. And your body and your energy field is screaming at you to stop. So why does this even happen? Why do sensitive healers end up being drained? There is oftentimes a giving from depletion instead of your overflow, but a crucial aspect is you're not actually letting yourself fully receive. So there's a little bit of bypassing that can happen, so spiritual bypassing that can happen in the area of healing and energy work. And it's really about being here to give instead of being here to receive, because it's so noble, right? It's like so selfless. And back in the days of, when we lived in tribes and there was a healing shaman, a Shah person, whatever, title they received, they may not have received a whole heap of cash necessarily, but they were taken care of by their community. They were always in overflow. They were revered. They were appreciated, right? Whereas now in this day and age, there are some requirements that we have, some living requirements that we have. And so the modern shaman, the modern energy worker, coach, therapist really needs to understand that receiving is still a crucial aspect of our work. Because, it sounds so noble to just be, oh, I just give and give and give, but it's actually creating an energetic imbalance that's slowly destroying you. And it's destroying the client coach or client therapist relationship too. Because when you refuse to receive, you're actually operating from a place of control. And giving without receiving keeps you in a superior position. And it keeps you safe from the intimacy of being met as an equal with your clients. And the truth is that healing, real healing, is supposed to be a reciprocal exchange. It's not just transactional, but it's mutual. When you hold space, you receive the privilege of witnessing that person's transformation. You receive the energetic exchange that happens when someone opens to you. The divine flow that moves through you is something that you also receive. And you also receive financial reward for that in exchange for your gifts. So it's really, really important to acknowledge this reciprocal exchange, and that you do so much more service when you enable that and allow for people to receive your overflow instead of, and I hate to say it, but it is oftentimes resentment. Because if you're doing it from depletion, that resentment is present in your field whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Here's what is going to change everything for healers to shift into a more empowering space for real sustainable healing work, because it comes from your wholeness, not from your woundedness. Your wounds, as I mentioned before, it informs your compassion, it informs your embodied experience so that you can teach from a place of knowing, but you don't need to stay wounded in your healing journey to stay relatable. You don't need to stay depleted to prove that you care or to wear as a badge of honor to show that you have devotion to your craft. Your remembrance of the wounding and its lessons is enough. And the fact that you've been there and moved through it, that is the medicine that you're here to give. So here's a little check-in moment for you to see that whether or not you're operating from this place of the martyr, the wounded healer, or from the empowered, gifted, truly devotional healer. Let yourself tune in and see if after your sessions, you're feeling completely depleted and wanting to move into behaviors that distract or behaviors that numb, and you're just wanting to completely zone out. Or do you feel fulfilled? And you might still feel tiredness. I'm not going to say that that's not possible, because of course, when you're channeling vast amounts of energy, that actually does send you into higher dimensions, and that does give you a sort of sense of tiredness, but it will be tiredness with fulfillment rather than tiredness or exhaustion from depletion, where you feel like you have nothing left. One of them is full on draining your life force. And the other one is channeling for people and allowing for that true healing energy to come through and assist your client in that moment. Really importantly, and I want you to listen to this, you are allowed to be well while helping others to become well. The right clients are attracted to your wholeness as much as your beautiful, rich journey that you've taken to get here. Your clients want to see what's possible for them. They want to see modeled in you what is possible for themselves. And they want to see themselves reflected in the victories that you have accomplished as well. So the wounded healer archetype, the martyr, was always only meant to be a stage, not a permanent identity, not something that you constantly thread through your sessions and your interactions with people. You are meant to move through your wounds and into wholeness. And that's where your real medicine lives. That's where your real service lives. And I hope that you arrive into this space of knowing that you can be in joy, in energetic overflow while you do the work that you're here to do, and not feel guilty that you're not embodying a certain archetype that has come to be a little bit of the shadow in the healing arts. I hope this served you. And if you can think of any other healers who would benefit from this video, please send it on to them. I'd love to hear from you below if anything stuck out to you, or share your own tips as a healer with everyone else who watches this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Sending lots of love.